Hello, everyone. Happy Halloween. My name is Bernadette Desir. I am the host of the podcast, and I'm so honored and excited to introduce you guys to today's special guest, Ceola. I love your name, by the way. Love it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. How are you?
I am doing well, Bernadette. How about yourself?
I'm fantastic. It's Halloween, and I got my groove on.
Looks great, by the way.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Welcome to the podcast. I'm excited to hear your journey and story. Can you start by telling us who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. First of all, let me say thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. Always an opportunity to share a little bit of my story. My name is Ceola J. I am a published author. I am a licensed minister and entrepreneur, um, and I'm also a playwright.
Mm. Oh, wow, that's awesome. What is a playwright?
I have written 5 or 6 faith-based stage plays, and we've performed them up and down the corridor of California, and we are looking forward to heading to Atlanta next.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's so cool. Wow.
Love it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, what is your book about? Is it books or book? Just one?
Actually, yes, right now it's one book, but I am working on a couple of more. They are devotionals, but my first book was published initially in 2016. The
Mhm.
title is excuse me, that's my message is I Know It Was the Blood, a Story of Overcoming. And in the book, I chronicle my life from my childhood through adulthood, expressing my journey of overcoming sexual assault as a child,
Mm.
overcoming homelessness with my mother and my siblings,
Mhm.
domestic violence early in my adulthood,
Mm.
and just the many struggles and the power to overcome.
Ooh, you have overcome, my friend. Those are not easy things to overcome and be free from and heal from. My
Not
goodness.
at all.
Wow. Can you take us to your childhood? What was it like? Did you have some good memories from everything you've experienced?
I do actually. Moments with my grandmother were moments that I cherished a lot.
Mhm.
And those were the moments that I think that kind of anchored me as a child. So that everything that did happen, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. But it was those memories, the words that she spoke in and over my life, the encouragement that she provided, that I think were kind of sustaining factors in those very difficult moments. My mother was part Indian, Native American. So I think a lot of her struggles may have been identity crisis. And so we went through a lot of things as children. And plus, she was a young mother of 4. We lost her when I was 16 and she was just 33 years old. So she went through a lot. And I think that had, an effect on us as her children.
Oh my goodness, that very young age to pass. And
Yes.
indeed, it's never easy for kids, to have to go through that and heal from that. And what did you guys do, specifically you, to heal from all of that?
I want to apologize. The lawns are being cut, so
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good.
okay, I
Yeah,
apologize if you could hear that.
no
Uh,
worries.
what did we do? What did I do, or my
Mm.
siblings? I can only speak for myself.
Yeah, yeah.
What I did to overcome. I think initially I tried to hide from my past. I tried to run from my past, recreate myself, move to an entirely different area to
Mhm.
try and recreate myself. But I learned in doing that there was nothing I can do to run from my past. It's kind of like trying to run from your shadow.
Yeah.
If you keep running, you turn around and you realize that the shadow is still there. So
Mhm.
I think for me, a point of healing was to begin to talk about it.
Mhm.
Um, and I was forced to do that back in 2009 on an international prayer call that made me kind of face what I was really running from.
Mm. Wow. Um, how has your faith kept you through everything you've been through?
Actually, it has been my faith that has kept me.
Wow. Wow.
Yes, my faith in God, my faith in His love and mercy, and
Mhm.
just really in understanding who I was in Him, and understanding that my life had value and that my life had purpose,
Mhm.
and that I was not defined by what happened to me, but I was defined by who I was created to be. And that has been the number one turning point in my life, is really coming to that truth.
Yeah, I love that. Was there ever a time that you were angry at God and questioned some of the situations that you've been through?
I don't think I was ever angry at God. You know, it was my grandmother that kind of anchored my relationship in God and kind of drove the understanding that God was love. And I think I knew early on that people, you know, being all of us, have choices to make, and that our choices are not a direct result of our relationship in God. Is actually quite the opposite. It is the direct result of our not having a relationship with God. So
Yeah.
I knew that the things that happened to me were not because of anything that God had done or allowed, but it was more so what people had chosen to do.
Yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
How did you find your identity separate from your mother's or other family members?
You know, that was I think, a long process and a long journey. You know, experiencing what my mother went through as a child, I had, you know, determined early on that I would not be a victim of domestic violence. But in my early adulthood, I was. And so I think initially it was a very hard pill to swallow, because you have to look within. And sometimes it's very difficult for us, and particularly as women, to look within, look at ourselves and say, hey, what is it about me that is allowing this? So I think the first step for me was really self-evaluation, you know, and really taking a hardcore look at myself and what is it about me? And then really kind of getting to the truth that I was not the fault for anything that was happening to me, you know, and that I did have an inner power, and that I did have an inner strength, and that my life did have value. So the two hardest pills that I think I've ever had to swallow was that I faced self-esteem issues and self-worth issues. And so I had to go back and re-examine my life, you know, relive the words that my grandmother spoke to me, and you know, really kind of tell myself that you are not, you know, a victim of rape. You are not weak. You are not all of these things that sometimes our experiences in life try to define, you know, us as. And so it was really an awakening and a coming to a truth about myself.
Mm. Oh, I love that. An awakening. And
Yes.
most of us are still asleep, and it takes ridiculous types of trauma to wake us up, and it's not easy at all. Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about women empowerment. Excuse me.
Mhm.
How would you define women empowerment?
I would define it as first self-discovery,
Mm,
you know, because we can't really empower anyone else until we ourselves have been empowered. You
mhm,
know, a lot of times, and I've seen this in my journey, that sometimes we try to go and encourage and empower other women when we are still hurt. You
mhm,
know, we are still kind of uh, living in the pain of our past, and until we individually come to a truth about who we are, you
mhm.
know, then we can't really effectively empower other women. So I think the first step is really coming to the truth about yourself, being empowered and finding the power within before we can step out and really try to address an issue of empowerment on a more broader level.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, what would you say to women from all cultures all over the world that may feel that they're not being seen or heard or appreciated for who they are and for what they do?
You know, that's a very good question. Our statement that it's a very good question. And
Yeah.
I want to say this, that in today's world, we are living in a world where influencers are really big and huge. And
Mm,
we are looking for so many other people to influence us, to empower us, and to inspire us. And I think the problem is that when we look outside of ourselves for that inspiration and that empowerment, and that influence, that sometimes if those people let us down, then we really have nothing to anchor us on. So it really kind of goes back to the statement I just made. I think we have to first find that within ourselves, you know, and once we discover that within ourselves, then, you know, we have the empowerment that we need. We have the power, we have the inspiration that we need within ourselves. So I think it's, again, it begins with us. It begins with us and ends with us. So the women out there all over the world who are maybe doubting themselves, are trying to find that inspiration, I would say again, look within, you know, because there is greatness on the inside of you. You were created by greatness for greatness. And until we first believe that ourselves, I think we're not going to really grasp the fullness of our capabilities, our abilities, and the beauty that we behold as individual women.
I love that. Yeah. And
Mhm.
of course, women have been fighting. I don't know. I'm young, you know, from what school teaches me for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I never understood it until I became a woman, because
Hmm.
I wasn't always a woman. I was
Hmm.
a toddler, a baby, a toddler, and a very, very wild teen. And then I became a mother, and I'm like, what is this?
Hmm.
Too
Hmm.
much responsibility, too much freedom. And I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, whoo, right? But it still is teaching me so many lessons. Some
Yeah.
I don't want to learn, but I have no choice but to learn them.
Hmm.
And I want to focus a little bit when it comes to shame and guilt
Yeah.
of how women feel. Obviously, all of us do, but we're going to focus on ladies, you guys. All right. Because women, we carry so much around. We want to give the world, to everybody, but we don't really always feed our souls. How can women do that for themselves?
You know, I think it is just an inherent nature of us as women to be nurturers, to want to give, to want to take care of everyone else, you know, put everyone else before ourselves. So I
Mhm.
just want to offer this bit of advice. It is okay to love yourself. It is okay to take care of yourself. It is okay to put yourself first. It's okay. You know, we often hear when we board planes, you know, when the first message goes out to put our oxygen mask on first in the event of an emergency,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And sometimes we feel guilty. I think even when we board the plane, we think, well, if something happens, I want to make sure everyone else is taken care of first. And
Mhm.
I think that is one of the most hardest things for us as women to say, you know what, it's okay to
Mhm.
take care of me.
Yeah.
So I think it's give yourself permission to
Mhm.
be first. Give yourself permission to take care of yourself. Because
Mhm.
if you don't, no one else is.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And that's what we do for our kids,
Yes.
right? You know what? It's Halloween here. I woke up today. My kids reminded me it was Halloween. I'm like, thank you, sweetie. I got
Mhm.
after dropping them off, and I put this on. I felt good. I still feel good. I think I look good. And
Yes.
enjoying myself. I'm reigniting that fire and passion for the
Hmm.
inside of me. And
Hmm.
it's just a beautiful place to be. It's
Yes.
the type of happiness I knew existed, but I never experienced it.
Yes. I think, you know, it's okay. Take a spa day. It's okay. Go in the bathroom and run a bubble bath, light candles. Just give yourself permission to see about you.
Yeah, yeah. And I got to ninja my food with my kids. All right. It goes, they have the same amount. They want the one that I'm holding, that I'm about to put in my
Hmm.
mouth.
Hmm.
So sometimes I walk the opposite way and just eat, right? That's self-care.
Even that little bit right there is absolutely self-care. I was having lunch with a couple of friends the other day, and one of them said, you know, when we left lunch, she grabbed her food and she said, I'm going to write my name on it. And it says, Mommy. And she says, I just want to take this home and put it in the refrigerator and have no one take it out. You know, even in that moment, that's self-care. You know, she's taking care of herself.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Do you have any regrets in life?
I don't think I have any regrets.
Mm.
No.
What do you have?
I have
Lessons?
appreciation.
Mm.
I have appreciation for the opportunities that the obstacles in my life lent for me to gain strength, wisdom, knowledge, a stronger faith, and
Mhm.
a broader understanding of who I am as a person.
Mm, I love that. How do you practice self-love?
Again, just by what I said, taking time for me,
Mhm.
reminding myself,
Yeah.
of who I am,
Mhm.
reading my word, reminding myself, spending quality, quiet time,
Mhm.
having time in prayer. I think all of those things are essential,
Mhm.
for really kind of taking care of oneself. Right?
Yeah, I agree. If you could go, sorry.
Exercising.
Oh yeah, exercising. Oh yeah, that one. You know what? I'll take any gym passes and stuff. It's just what happened the next day. It just gets to me. It feels good, but it's so painful.
Yes, yes,
It's
yeah.
not supposed to be that painful.
I tell our kid, yeah, look,
Yeah.
anything worth having is going to cause you a little pain.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it will. Yeah. If you could go back to your 18-year-old self, what would you say to her?
Oh, wow. I would say strap up and get ready. This is going to be one heck of a journey, but you're going to come out victorious on the other side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd give mine a few helmets because it's been concussion ground.
I like that
It's
concussion
been it's
ground.
been oh it's been oh wow, it's been so bad.
Yeah, I
Not
don't think I
much, not much phase me. Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, no, my apologies. I don't think I would tell her to take a different route. I
Yeah.
don't think I would, because that journey has made me who I am today,
Mm.
So I would just say keep the faith, stay focused, and stay strong. You're gonna make it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like it's bad.
Uh,
Every see and you never see it coming, right?
no,
Never.
no.
And I don't like surprises. My kids want to play hide and seek. I'm like, maybe I want to see you."
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're also a public speaker. Do you
Mm.
get nervous? And what do you talk about?
Oh, the strange thing is I do not get nervous. Speaking publicly is the one place where I feel the most comfortable is.
Oh,
So the most comfortable, I should say, rather.
mhm,
So no, I don't get nervous. I have tried to prepare messages to
yeah.
speak, and the weirdest thing is anything that I have prepared, I usually do not speak on it. It's when I step to the platform, there's a whole nother message that I didn't even know
Yeah.
that was just waiting to come forth on the inside of me. And I think it's just experience. I think it's just life experiences. I think
Mhm,
it's just a combination of my passion for what I believe. And the topics I usually talk on all center around empowering women.
mhm.
And there are usually three topics: your past does not destroy your destiny,
Yeah.
no apology, and moving beyond the fear.
Ooh, nailed it. Wow. Wow. If I wasn't if I was standing, I might have tipped over with that one. That was so good. Wow. Those are really, really important aspects to continue to talk about. And I think sometimes we forget that the past doesn't define us because
Yes,
we're somehow letting the present mess with us. Right? Right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So many distractions and so many hindrances, that I think,
Mm,
um, and a lot of the distractions are do come from our past, and they come to interfere, they come to hinder and delay our
mhm,
futures. And so we have to really get anchored, and again, in who we are, and kind of understanding the power that we hold, so
mhm.
that we can press forward into achieving goals, aspirations, and dreams.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. What would you say to women that are they just started their healing journey? They're scared, they're hurting, and they may feel alone and losing hope.
Allow yourself to go through the process.
Mm,
Healing is a process, and sometimes we feel bad for feeling guilty. We feel bad for feeling shameful. Why am I feeling this way? I shouldn't feel guilty. I shouldn't feel shameful. And
mhm,
those feelings and emotions turn into anger. then you become angry, and then you start feeling bad on yourself, like, why am I feeling this way? And so those things can be triggers that cause us to have a relapse. So what I want to say is give yourself grace, and understand that healing is a process, and that those emotions, the anger, the guilt, feeling shameful, those things are all natural emotions that you're going to feel, but they're also part of the process to you becoming completely healed. So allow yourself grace to go through that, and be careful not to allow distrust to enter in there. When you're feeling alone, sometimes you feel like you can't talk to someone, journal, write down what you're feeling, because you have to get those emotions out. So write down what you're feeling if you don't have the opportunity to speak to someone.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Let's say if you could be in power, meaning making decisions and choices, like government stuff, all that fun stuff. What would you want to change and why?
I think I would want to change. What would I want to change? That's a very good question. Hmm. I think I would want to change how women are seen. I think you touched on that earlier, how women are seen.
Yeah.
And I think I would really kind of touch on the women empowerment from the way that maybe the world sees it, that women are less than, or we can't accomplish anything, or even the mindset that women, who believed that being in the home was a sense of weakness. It's not a sense of weakness. I think one of the greatest things that we can do is be able to raise our children and spend time with our kids, and to understand that that doesn't make you a weaker vessel. That doesn't make you less important. That actually makes you more important, because
Yeah.
you're raising someone's wife, you're raising someone's husband, someone's father, you're raising someone's mother, and they are going to be the ones who lead the future. So I think it's important to understand that our roles, as women, don't define us, whether those roles are inside the home or outside the home. They do not define us either.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, as you're speaking, I can feel my ancestors' blood through my body. Like, wow, like women are powerful. And
Very much.
that's why for so long, even now, we're being oppressed, criticized, judged, and being put in the kitchen. I'm like, excuse me?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, because I've had to understand that for myself, because here I am. I was born in Haiti, raised there. Women
Mm-hmm.
stay in the kitchen and take care of the kids and have babies.
Yeah,
And then
no.
here I'm in Canada, and women are doing constructions, they're doctors, they're dentists. Like, what is this? How do I marry my two cultures together? What is this? I said, I love it, right? And
Finding that perfect balance.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the power that lives in all of us,
Yes.
more so women. That's
Yes.
why people want to mess with us, because
Yes.
we know what we want, we go for it, and we speak our minds and
Yes.
get it done.
Yeah,
And
I
that,
don't think,
yeah,
go
yeah.
ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, go ahead.
I don't think, yeah, we shouldn't, and I think a lot of times we focus on the fight more than we focus on the process. And I think, and the progress we can make. I think the answer to the fight is to move forward in progress.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times the distractions, they become deterrents. So we're focusing on the battle, I want to win this fight, but the way to win the fight is to make the progress.
Yeah, yeah. And also it's realizing that the fight, it's already won.
Already.
And whether someone's religious or not, it's already won. I
It's
mean,
already.
I don't know my great, 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 great grandmother, grandfather, but they went through hell. And I'm
Yes, they
sitting
did.
here feeling sorry for myself, not realizing that I'm here for a reason. There's a purpose.
Yes.
And I'm not letting them down. Not happening, not on my watch, right? And
No,
continue to speak, to advocate, and to harness the power that we have as women.
absolutely. And we do it as a unified force. So, going back to the other question is, we have to become more unified. And I think the message is to really kind of help women understand that we are more powerful together as a unified force than we are individually. And I think collectively, if we come together, understanding who we are, that there's power in that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And we need to stop tearing each other down. I see
Oh
it all
God.
the time. I do. And I love grandmothers.
Yes.
I miss mine.
Yeah.
Why? Because they have so much wisdom, so
Yes.
much knowledge, a type of love it's ridiculous to even think of because
Yeah.
it's hard to experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then I love women in my age. Sometimes they do stupid stuff and behaviors. I don't even want to go to teens what they're up to these days.
Yeah.
And then in mid 30s, there are some crises here and there. We lose who we
Mm-hmm.
are. The kids move out,
Mm-hmm.
or the kids stay in and they drive us
Yeah.
mad. In our
Yeah.
60s, we're like, what
Mm.
did I do with my life? And our
Right.
dead. We can't take the money with us,
No,
right?
no.
And it's fascinating that a dash separates us, born in, died.
Yes. Yes.
What are
Yeah.
we doing with that dash? What are we leaving behind? The legacy. It's
Yes.
not to be things we're not supposed to be, like forcing to be what we're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's realizing our potentials, which is why I call the podcast Unleash
Yes.
Potentials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's good. I think everything you said was very good. And I think in terms of that dash, I think, when I talk, if I had to let my past define me, if I had to let the rape, if I had to let the domestic violence, if I had to let the homelessness, losing my mother,
Yeah.
all of these things define me, I would have never walked into and continue to walk into that process of unleashing, my full potential. And that is, the fact that I'm a playwright, that I have written stage plays, that I have, that have been successful, that, I am working on a screenplay, that I am working on multiple books, that I am working on a television network. So all of these things, would have never evolved, or come to fruition, had I believed what, my past tried to dictate. My past tried to dictate my life, steering me in a different direction, one of a victim, one of fear, one of guilt, shame, and embarrassment. And so I think a lot of that, when we allow that, it is what kind of affects what we do from that dash until the time that our life comes to a close, So I'm hoping that women that, have been on your show and are really kind of telling their story, including mine, they would find, that the power to unleash their potential as well.
Yeah, yeah, thank you so much. And that's why I don't fit into a niche, because I'm like, how boring would that be? Are we all the same?
Yes.
No, then why should I tell people to talk about what I want them to talk about?
Mm-hmm.
Make it a delicious soup of healing and conversation and things
Yes.
we can resonate from. And I've
Yes.
talked to all types of people. An
Mm-hmm.
example would be mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Black mom. I've talked
Mm-hmm.
to white moms,
Mm-hmm.
and their pain and birth stories. How is that different from mine based on how I look?
They're not.
Not different,
No.
right? And I've talked to doctors and therapists.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how is that different from someone who is running to be a candidate? Or how is it different from a pastor? And it's just sometimes I think we get tangled in our titles. It is
Yes.
okay to celebrate our accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stay there.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you have anything else you'd like to share with us?
I think, as we talked about, earlier, the most important thing is really being able to share a message of empowerment,
Mhm.
really kind of speaking to the women that are listening, that will listen, tune in, and really kind of understanding that, again, I just want to express the power that we have in unity, and that we really do need to come together as a unified force as women, because we can do so much more together than we can do separately. And that's not just a saying, that is absolutely something I believe and I know that can be transformative in the lives of so many people, specifically so many women. So that, I want to say that there is greatness on the inside of each and every one of us, and that again, our past does not dictate our future. So please don't let anything that happened to you in your past, define your future, because it does not.
Yeah.
Opportunities are those obstacles presented opportunities
Mhm.
for you to be where you are. So please be encouraged.
Yeah, I agree. And sometimes the only thing or person that's standing in our way is ourselves.
Oh God, that's a big one. I couldn't
Yeah.
have said that better myself. That's a big one.
Because I realize that's what I've done all my life.
Oh, me too. Me too. Me too. Yes, I have been my biggest adversary. Yes.
Yeah, and it's hilarious at times and painful to
Mm-hmm.
come to
Mm-hmm.
the realization of it. Like, why didn't I do that sooner?
Yes. Oh
To
my
wait.
gosh.
I had to wait for it to happen, for me to go through all the stuff I've been through, when all I
Yes.
could have done is move out of the way.
Made the decision to move.
Yeah, yeah,
That's so
yeah.
true. That is so true. I bet there are so many of us that can relate to that. I know I can definitely. That resonates deeply.
Yeah, yeah. I have two questions for you as we wrap up.
Yes.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
You sure? I'm
Yes.
kidding. What is the meaning of life for you?
The meaning of life is being able to impact other lives. And I say that because there's a message that I live by, and that's that I live so others may live.
Mm, I love that word, message, message, messenger. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Where can my listeners find you and support your work?
Oh, that would be awesome. They can visit my website at www.ceolaj, that's CEOLAJ.com. And they can also follow me on Instagram at I_am_Ceola J.
Wow, I love that. I don't want this conversation to end, but it has to.
This was great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how fun it is to be on the podcast, and I love it. Yeah. Well, Ceola, I love your name, and
Thank
I love what you do, and I love the woman that I see.
you.
And you don't know me, but the healing you've done and everything you've shared, I'm a witness to it in so many ways that I may not be able to describe. And I look up to you for that, for your strength, your resilience, and just authenticity to know that it's okay. It's okay to feel, to heal, and to help others rise. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Bernadette. It was an honor to be here, and I applaud you in the work you're doing. Continue blessings on
Thank
unleashing your potential. What an
you.
honor. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much. Thank you.